The foundation of any open guard game is guard retention. Without confidence in your ability to retain your guard, you will be hesitant when attacking. Developing cast iron defense against your opponent's passing attempts is your first step towards open guard mastery. Both the top and bottom players are fighting a battle for alignment. The bottom player wants to stay centerline to centerline to keep their legs between them and their opponent. The top player wants to break this alignment by making the opponent's feet and knees point away from them and stepping towards an angle. In the first level of open guard drills, the top player will practice the first stages of coming out to pass. They are wanting to approach low, looking to establish grips on their opponent's legs, and use footwork to break the alignment. Once the alignment is broken, they will then allow the bottom player to practice regaining the alignment using only their legs. This drill develops the top player's ability to engage an opponent in an open guard scenario, and develops the bottom player's leg dexterity, which is fundamental for guard retention. Your goal is to break the alignment and regain the alignment 20 times each using the various methods outlined in this video. In our open guard drills, our goals, if we're in the bottom person, is to always keep Kieran in front of us. As soon as Kieran starts stepping past my hip line and he gets his trail leg here to my line of my hips, this is where I go from an offensive cycle to a defensive cycle. We're going to do this drill without using our hands. You can develop bad habits using your hands to pull yourself back around. You want to develop the leg dexterity to do this. If Kieran's at a distance and he starts circling this way, and let's say I can't reach him to pull myself around, I need to be able to maintain alignment between me and him. So if I start bringing my foot to the floor and doing things like reverse hip escapes, I give myself open to things like shin pins, passes. So I need to be able to keep my knee and elbow connection and turn facing. Always want to be careful reaching out for your opponent. If I start reaching out, this limb is now extended, and you can start pinning it, you can start stepping out, you can use cross steps, and all of a sudden, I'm now in a lot of danger of getting past. So you can see my knees here. I want to be careful having my knees out past the line of my hips. The way I like to measure distance is keeping a hand on my knee and self-framing. So here I can only reach so far. Okay, so if I reach without a self-frame, you can grab and pull my knee, spin me, and start throwing by. So I like to put my hands on my knees here. When we engage with an opponent, we should always have 1 foot high, 1 foot low. If we have 2 of the same, he can pass either direction. So he can go left, he can go right. By having 1 high and 1 low, it forces him to have to pass in different ways on each side. So from here, I'm exposed to a flank, back. If he goes to flank this way, my foot obviously is blocking him, but he can use things like cross steps. He can still look to pass. So generally, you want to have 1 leg high, 1 leg low. If Kieran's at a distance, and I want to keep my alignment with him, what I'm going to do is keep my hands on my knees. As he moves this way, I can use my elbow on the floor, rock back onto my shoulders, lift my hips, and turn facing. Okay, so if he's going side to side, I can keep facing him without having to reach out. Okay, so the circle that I have to turn to keep in alignment is much smaller than the circle he has to turn. Even if he's running, I should still be able to keep facing him. Once Kieran steps in, he then puts hands on me. Now from here, he's going to look to throw my legs to the side, okay, and start stepping around. Now before he passes my hip line, we can use inside and outside cross steps. So as he steps around, I can bring my foot to here, and I can connect to him. I get into my shell, I lift my hips up, just like we did before, and you pull yourself around. Okay, now from here, you can go the other way. So instead of using this leg, I can go cross step, pull myself around. If he manages to move past my hip line, we're going to have to high leg. So from here, I'm going to look to rock back and bring my leg across, connecting to him, pulling myself around. We can also do it with the inside leg. So just comes here, you rock back, connect, pull yourself back around. If he manages to make it all the way past my hip line, I have to inverted spin. So from here, I rock back, and I can use either leg, connect to him, pull yourself back around. Passes again. This time use the outside leg. Connect, pull yourself back around using nothing but your legs. So Kieran's allowed to use his hands. That will be this side of my hip line. Once he passes my hip line, he goes hands off. So I can practice using these hind legs to pull myself back around. From the top player's perspective, we're trying to practice throw-bys. So we always want to have our opponent's knees and feet pointed away from us. So as we come in, we want to make sure we're always behind our hands. I want to be cautious about coming forward, especially if I'm squared, because from here, he can start hooking in and playing guard. From here, I'm behind my hands, so if he goes to reach out, it's going to be difficult. So I put hands on him first. There are no consequences without a gi of me putting my hands on his legs here. In the gi, he can obviously grab my lapels, he can start playing spider guard. Without the gi, there's not much he can do. So from here, I put hands on him. I'm going to look to step out first. I'm going to look to step my leg around, okay, in a crescent, and then from here, I step my other leg up and above the shoulder line. I'm looking to spend time in this position. You see where my knee is pointed in towards his center line, and it's above his hip line. So I can go between this position here, and then the other side. So as Kieran pulls himself back around, okay, from here, legs come back, I can fake going one way and then crescent step to the other side. He pulls himself back around. Okay, come in. When we come in, we usually want to pick the side. So I don't want to enter with a squared stance. If I enter with a squared stance, it exposes my center line and gives him access to play open guard. From here, having one leg forward and being on a side, if he goes to try and tangle my leg, he can only really get a hook on one. This leg's too far out of the way, and my hands come in. So from here I can step out, around, and to the shoulder line. As he highlights, he can step out, crescent step, step to the shoulder line. Now, as I mentioned before, if he's got one high, one low, from here I can use the crescent step, so I step out and around here. Now, put your back. On this side, if I wanted to pass, what I need to do is use a cross step. So I step out, and obviously this is where he's trying to block me. I pick my leg up and step up and over. And from here, I'm up to here, the high legs. And from here, step out, cross step. And fake one side, go the other. So I'm practicing that footwork of being able to step and break the alignment quickly. Use my hands to misdirect and make his feet and knees point away from me. Now another important point, once we get to here and we start stepping by, if we were trying to pass, we always have hands on his legs. We always want to be nice and low. So we don't want to be up like this. We just expose our own legs. So from here we're nice and low. Except in this drill, we're not going to have hands on. But I still want you to be nice and low.